What's up, suckers?
I used to go watch a band. I say, I could do that. I could do it better. I could do it louder, faster. And that's how I evolved into playing the way I play.
We were kind of the gateway for the next generation of punks, the kids that would eventually define hardcore. I didn't get into hardcore. Hardcore happened because of people like me.
You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of the best the punk and hardcore scene has to offer. Now let's stop talking and let's get to moshing. What's up? You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio. This is episode 63. This week we have metallic hardcore band Treason from Cincinnati, Ohio. We're going to be talking to Rich, who plays bass in that band. Also played in a bunch of other bands, such as Culture, a little band called Terror, Suffocate Faster, plus more. We'll talk about all those influences and how it shapes this current band that's on New Age Records. And talk about Cincinnati, talk about Ohio, and talk about some fucking heavy-ass hardcore. So, started off with some new music from Hesitation Wounds. They have a brand new record. If you're not familiar with Hesitation Wounds, has some awesome members for some good hardcore-esque bands. We got Jeremy from Touche Amore and Steven from X-Trap Them, and we have members of The Hope Conspiracy, Gouge Away, and Axis to put this awesome fucking group together. And it's we start off with Paragons of Virtue, and off their record it's I don't want to fucking botch it, but Chicanery? I'm not sure. So, but they have a new 12-inch LP. Check it out now. So this week, I got some things to get off my chest. So if you haven't noticed, I'm a little behind on uploading some of our episodes from just the last week and a half. And I apologize for that. Not only is the end of the summer pretty strapped for me, and I was in a hurry to put together last week's episodes. It was also so it's Bumbershoot weekend, so I work. It's for the job that I do, I work around the clock. Work a lot of like wonky hours, and on top of that, I think when I was coming home on the Friday night, basically like Saturday morning, from the first shift of the weekend, coming out of Seattle, some asshole drunk driver came out of nowhere and sideswiped me. I almost lost control, but was able to get the shit together. Didn't know if my car was working, but the car decided to just speed off, not, instead of, try to assess the damage or go, side of the road and settle up because the fucker hit me. So it came to my attention that this was a drunk fucking driver, because they hit me and then sped the fuck off. I followed them and they sped off. I lost them for a little bit. They slowed down somewhere halfway between where they finally got pulled over. And I made sure to track them down to get their license. And because I'm going to be honest, I do not advocate for calling 911 if you don't have to. But this was a safety issue. A drunk driver that almost could have killed me and possibly could have killed others. So eventually they did get pulled over. It took a fucking good ass amount of time. If anyone in the Northwest knows, I was in Tukwila and the car got pulled over right outside of Fife. So that's a good 15 to 20 miles ish, give or take, that this car was on the road before it finally what made it stop. And this, more than ever, fuck drunk drivers. This is another reason I am straight edge, because not that I'm not smart enough to, if I was drinking, I know better than to fucking get in a car. But I'm all about having that clear mind to keep people safe. And it's all about safety. As long as you're keeping people safe and keeping yourself safe, that's priority number one. But never fucking get into a vehicle, because more than likely, more times than none, you're going to injure somebody else other than yourself, and fuck you for ever doing that, and fuck that person for the damages were somewhat small, but they were damages. Once I woke up in the morning, my car is drivable and I am okay. But yeah, I'm a little shooken up after that. So all in all, fuck drunk drivers. So we're going to move on ahead, back into the show, back into music. So this past week, the heavy metal alternative press, I would say it leads over alternative press. I honestly don't even know if alt press is still doing shit right now, because I haven't seen many fucking I haven't seen hardly any articles, but I feel like Kerrang from the UK definitely is continuing is always continually following heavy music and representing heavy music in one way or another. But I feel like there's always with some of these pieces of press, I guess they I don't know if they're always 100% accurate or take their best time, but this UK magazine, this UK outlet made a list about their 50 top bands from the US. And to be fair, yeah, it's always going to be interesting. Like, I feel like if I did 50 bands from the UK, I feel like some of the UK fans would be like, interesting. I wouldn't have picked that. So I will definitely give them a little bit of leeway, but also them being one of the leaders of alternative press in the world. I would say that they have the time and the resources to do their due diligence, but some of it's good, some of it's weird. I think before I get into the list of bands, they specifically set up some rules with the disclaimer saying, quote, assuming we're going to have all of hardcore Twitter down our throats at the moment we press publish here in advance of your outrage, here are the self-imposed ground rules for our selections. Number 1, the band must be American. Number 2, the band must be actively playing shows, releasing albums. The band's debut full-length or EP must have come out in 2010 or later. The band may have metal influences, but must be discernibly hardcore or have hardcore punk roots. And the band must not be as listed on their metal list, which I guess All Pigs Must Die was on that before, which is fine. You can leave them out of it. All Pigs Must Die, fucking great band though. Great fucking band. So I'm not going to go through the entire list. I'm just going to go through kind of the cliff notes. I'm just going to go through what I got out of it. Trail of Lies, Mikulu, Torso, Mind Force were all mentioned. King 9, Cloud Rat makes sense. Abuse of Power, For Real. See You Space Cowboy was kind of in the middle of that list. And here's one that's a little bit weird for me because I'm pretty sure this band put out music before 2010. Zabalba, I'm pretty sure this band straight up had music before 2000, but maybe they might have been riding the line for that. So, because I did see them for the first time in 2010. So, interesting. So, moving on. The band from Seattle, Fucked and Bound, was actually featured on that list, and I think that's fucking awesome. That is dope. Band 100% deserves it. And that band fucking is incredible. So they're also, we'll talk a little bit more about that band. Hands of God, Sharp Tooth, who's also on the show, is great. A band, we're gonna play a few bands that I actually was not familiar with. Hesitation Wounds, who we just played, was on it. Sanction. Bands that were not on it that I think should have been 100%. Fuck. Why am I? Magnitude. Magnitude was not on this list. I believe Eco Strike was on this list, and I think Magnitude, 100%. They fucked up and missed, and they definitely missed the boat on that one. I'm sure there's a few that I'm thinking of that I can't think of right now, but should 100% have been on that list. I'm going up to the thread. I had some interesting. Okay, yeah. So, Turnstile and Angel Dust were both on that. We're both on that list, and I think somebody complained that they both came out before. I'm like, I don't know. They did not. Both of their releases came out past 2010, so still fair game. So just letting you know on that. They missed Drain and I don't think they had Gulch on there. I'm not sure. I guess they so one thing that peeved me off was they teased that they're not having bands that are more metalcore like Varials, yet they put Knocked Loose. I know that I guess they've broken out a little bit more with a Warriors versus a Norma Jean style hybrid, but still has a lot of beatdown. But they were primarily definitely in that interesting beatdown circle that drawed a lot more of like the gent and metalcore kids that could care fucking less about hardcore. I think one time on the live show I pissed somebody off for calling Knocked Loose a metalcore band, but they have dipped more of their roots in metalcore, and not that I care too much. I was like, I didn't need Varials on the list, but I just don't think that rule made much sense, because Knocked Loose, I see, as far as their discography is concerned, more leans towards Varials than not. So whatever. It's just an interesting rule book that I don't think they played by, and I think but there still were some great mentions. There were a lot of interesting, like more like screamo influenced bands that I haven't really listened to, and that was like the pool of bands that I haven't heard before. So I only playing like one of those, because that would have made up my entire list of bands that I've never heard, because they didn't strike me as primarily hardcore. Not that they aren't hardcore influenced. So go check it out. Let me know what you think. I have a thread on facebook.com/deadairhardcoreradio, and give me some input on that list. All right, moving the fuck forward. We're going to play some music. From that list. So we're going to play... My bad. I got to pull up one song from this list. All right. Woo-hoo-hoo. So we're going to start it off with Fucked and Bound from Seattle. They have a split with a band called Haunted Horses. They're also going to be playing Seattle 13th at Black Lodge with Regional Justice Center. It will be the beginning of RJC's tour to promote their new record. So check that the fuck out. So a couple bands that you can check out from the list. We're going to play Amygdala, Frail Body, which is more on that screamo side that I was talking about. Very fast. And then And then we have Transient, which is a band from Portland that came out with a record last year. It's very fucking angry, aggressive. Never fucking thought. Never heard of this band until then. So thank you for Krang for showing me this band. So we're gonna play those this list of songs, and then we're gonna get to this week's band brawl. I guess last week's band brawl, then following. We'll get into the band brawl segment. All right. Be right back. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio.
Vigo Eats, all vegan and vegetarian food options. Located on Pioneer Ave in Puyallup, Washington. Do your part to support vegan establishments in small towns. Check out Vigo_EATZ on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Take a chance, yeah. Call me, let me play it with your radio. Love me. Well, here goes.
Flower Chains Collective.
I felt like I was watching a dream I'd never wake up from.
DIY clothing you can't get anywhere else.
Now you have something to look forward to after you die.
Information at flowerchains.us.
Band Brawl. Alright, Band Brawl. We fucking take some bands. We fucking put them in the ring, and we let you guys fucking decide. You guys battle for the bands. The bands don't get to battle themselves. You guys decide. Like, you decide who comes out alive. More votes, more comments. That's how it fucking works. I am working on some ones for records and whatnot, so we'll get into a record category and versus a band's record versus another band's record. But this last week we did Incendiary versus the Warriors. Two bands with very Rage Against the Machine style vocals. One has more of a, I would say, fun West Coast vibe, a little bit of more metalcore, and the other has an obvious New York vibe with more metallic hardcore than metalcore. So, but I gave some listens to some more of the Warriors, and it is extremely fucking hard for me. Dang, the dog is going fucking crazy back there out in the yard. The Rocky the Station Dogs is freaking the fuck out, so you're going to hear a little bit of dog. But War is Hell, Redux, and Beyond the Noise are by far my favorite Warriors records. Definitely don't sleep on them if you've never fucking listened to the Warriors, or just like you heard of them, or was actively listening to hardcore during that time, but just like didn't care, or what, it was not cool to like the Warriors. Just give them a fucking shot. I fucking love them, but like I said, I'm the king of bad opinions, I guess. So I like some wonky records. Moving on, Incendiary, fucking Incendiary won. By a long shot. Warriors deserve some more votes. I decided I'm staying undecided. Everybody else basically just fucking went the fucking, and no real comments on it. Just Incendiary. I didn't get much other feedback on top of that. It's just a couple votes for Warriors, all for pretty much a ton for Incendiary, and so they won, so which is fair. But I like both bands, but definitely as far as live sets, it's hard to say because I didn't get to see as many Warriors live sets. I missed one of the shows that I wanted to see, and then I think one of the times they were gonna, I think I've seen two total, so it's hard for me to see. Also, one time when I saw the Warriors, I was with a lot more of my metalcore friends who didn't want to stick around to see the Warriors or Terror, and I just had to deal with it because hardcore wasn't cool to them at the time. So, Incendiary does put on some fucking great ass shows. I've seen them a few times, and every time has been killer. When I've seen Seattle, even just of recently of this last spring. So we're gonna get to it. We're gonna play some music from their 2013 full-length titled "Cost of Living." We got Primitive Rage. I fucking love this song. So dope ass shit. And we'll right after this song, we'll get to this week's matchup. Listen to Deadair.
We're work
All right, we're back. This week's matchup, we're going. Oh, gotta keep that music good. Oh, too low. Don't wanna piss off Stone Cold. Anyways, this week's matchup, we're going to fucking Texas, baby. I'm not making an everything's bigger in Texas joke. I guess I just did. Whatever. So this week we're gonna play some crossover thrash for you. We're gonna match up two fucking dope ass bands. One is huge currently in the world of metal and hardcore. One deserves to be a little bit bigger. Hasn't put out any recent music since 2009. Some of you might have already guessed. We are matching up Power Trip versus Iron Age. So, don't know Power Trip, then you're not a fucking fan of metal, because they're fucking killing. They're killing the metal and the hardcore scene. One of the coolest bands out right now. I fucking love this goddamn band. They got their start in 2008 out of Dallas, Texas. Like I said, they're on Southern Lord. They're fucking killing it. I love. They have two main studio albums: Manifest, Decimation, from 2013 off Southern Lord, and then Nightmare Logic. Both fucking awesome. They also last year came out with Opening Fire, which is just a compilation of all their music between 2008 and 2014. So anything, just all pretty much fucking put together, because they've had a lot of music just strung along. Anyways, I haven't heard a bad piece of music from Power Trip. Also, live fucking shows. Now let's bring it over to Iron Age, who definitely deserves more than what they have gotten. Iron Age, they have two full lengths as well. 2006, The Constant Struggle, which is my favorite. Not The Constant Struggle, Constant Struggle. And then we have The Sleeping Eye, which I didn't give as much listen to until recently. This is definitely a band where get some fucking good headphones, sit down. I feel like Power Trip is more of a driving in the car band, and this band is a more sit down and fucking listen. Get them fucking good ass headphones and just get the fuck into it. Great. It's just amazingly recorded, this Iron Age record. Both Iron Age records. They also played, I believe, FYA in this past in 2018. So that's fucking cool. I don't remember if I'll do some studying for you real quick. I don't think that I remember while I'm looking this up. The one thing about Iron Age that is always I love the rumors, and I remember there was more on it, but I remember Trash Talk tweeting about Frank Ocean going hard as fuck for Iron Age in 2012, and that I remember there was more to the story, that he actually was doing some recording and flew out specifically to see Iron Age, got there in time and hit the fucking pit and went hard as fuck. And I'm a big Frank Ocean fan as well. Believe this was when he was primarily doing more stuff with Odd Future than his solo career. So any fucking way. Hopefully there is some more music from Iron Age. I did not look that up to see if there is more music from Iron Age happening in the future. Would love to hear it. Hopefully I can see that band one day, because I can't really compare to a band that that kills it live versus one that I haven't seen yet. So another hard one for me. So Power Trip versus Iron Age. What we got for the songs for the matchup, we're going to play Crossbreaker from Power Trip off of Manifest Decimation. Song fucking destroys live. And then follow it by Iron Age, Sleeping Eye of the Watcher off of the Sleeping Eye record. And then after that, we're going to get to our featured interview of the week with Treason. Stay the fuck tuned. Let's play these tracks and we'll be back shortly. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio. This is Band Fucking Brawl.
Crossbreaker! What's up, motherfuckers? This is Deadair telling you to check out the brand new Deadair website now. Go to deadairhardcoreradio.com for all podcasted shows as well as news, reviews, and content you can't get anywhere else. Go now or feel the wrath of my cold hard robotic leg spin kicking you straight in the face.
All right, it's time for our featured band of the week here on Dead Air. This week we go to Cincinnati, Ohio, to Rich, who plays bass in a band called Treason, currently on New Age Records. Rich, how are you doing today?
What's happening, my dude?
Hell yeah. So give us a little introduction of yourself. We do this for everyone. How you got into hardcore?
Well, I mean, I got into hardcore basically like a lot of people my age did. It was like through metal, earlier metal bands and thrash bands, and then started getting into skateboarding, and then you start learning about punk rock, and the rest is history. You just sort of go in that progression. I mean, my cousin, who's a little older than me, got me into metal when I was very young, like 8 or 9. Like, she was really into it, and so I just sort of followed in those footsteps. And then when I started skating, I started getting the more aggressive music, and then into like the heavier metal stuff, and then Slayer, and then the rest is history after that.
In Treason, it looks like you guys tend to you have a pretty good former resume as far as bands that you were in prior to this project. Culture, Suffocate Faster, Terror, a few others. Which one of those were you in any of those prior projects?
I started Culture. So I was in Culture, I was in One Nation Under, I was in Terror, I was in Diecast for a little bit, I was in Blood Has Been Shed. The long-standing joke is that I've been kicked out of some of the greatest bands in hardcore history. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for a minute. The other guys in the band have been doing this for a minute. We've all done other projects, like you said, Suffocate Faster and things like that. And it's just we've all been putting in work for a lot of years.
And tell us a little bit about how this project came to be.
Well, I hadn't done any bands in quite some time. Culture had done a few reunion shows here and also in Europe and Japan. And I started another band with the singer of Culture called On Bodies. But that was really just a studio thing. We didn't play any shows. It was Irish Voodoo Records put out a couple of records of ours, but we never really did anything with it. It was just really just me and him, So I wanted to start a band where I could actually play shows again, So I've known Chris since the singer. Chris, he was a singer for Suffocate Faster. I've known him for 20 years or so, and I was just like, hey, I'm going to write some songs. Would you want to sing on it? And he said, sure. So I wrote some songs, which turned out to be our demo, and went and recorded everything. I recorded all the music, drums, bass, guitars. He went in and did the vocals, and we just sort of had a demo. We didn't really think much of it. And then we started passing it around to friends, and eventually I sent it to Mike from New Age Records, just because I've also known Mike. I've known Mike since I was 18 years old. So I was just really just sending it to him like, hey, man, check this out. Like, this is what I'm doing now. I didn't really think anything was going to come of it. And then he was like, yo, I'd love to put this out. And I was like, wait, what? So at that point, we had to find the other members of the band so we could actually make it a real band and not just the brainchild of me and Chris. You know, we wanted to make sure we had other musicians. It took a while to find some, because it's slim pickings out here in the Midwest, especially in the Cincinnati area. So eventually we got the guys that we needed and started playing shows.
And you kind of answered my question just because with being in so many bands and doing this for so long, what is, you know, the motivation? And you kind of answered that with you wanted to get out there and actually play live shows again. What is the draw for you to continue wanting to get out there and play, you know, stages, basements, and etc.?
You know, it's we've had this discussion before, like with within the band and stuff, when we're driving to and from places for shows. It's just I constantly have music like in my head. Like, listen, I'm not some grand composer of some type of style of music that's new and new and brand new and not been done before. Like, I get it. I'm playing hardcore music. I'm not trying to break the mold or anything. I have music in me that I want to record. I want to hear it outside of my brain, you know? So that's really what gets me going with these with doing bands. It's just like, man, I've spent so much time of my life being in bands and going to shows and all this stuff that, like, I don't know anything else. Like, I don't know what else to do with my spare time, with my free time. So it just comes naturally. Like, even when I think, you know what, I'm done doing this. It's just, you know, it's not worth getting home at 3:00 in the morning on a Wednesday. You got to be at work at 7:00 the next day to play in front of 50 people in the middle of nowhere. And then I, like, you know what though, it is worth it. Like, it's worth it to do that. Like, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, especially people that are on the outside looking in. They don't see it. Like, wait, you're in a band? Like, you know, do you get paid a lot of money? It's that weird conversation you got to have with the dude at work that doesn't know anything about anything. And you're trying to explain it to him, and you really don't even want to be talking to him in the first place. But you're trying to explain to him what it's all about, and it's just doesn't get it. You know, it's just a feeling that you get when you're playing songs that you wrote that mean something to you. And if a couple people in the room feel it too, then I feel like it's mission accomplished.
Back to what you explained, because I'm sure, like, literally, like, I feel like bands and fans and showgoers have, for punk and hardcore, always have this problem with, that explanation of, what did you do last night? Where were you last week? Were you on vacation? No, I was on tour. And, like, having that explanation, and I feel my question to myself has, when you finally answer that and they don't get it, I feel like it's weird that they still don't understand why we didn't want to explain it in the first place. That's the funny thing.
Right,
they still don't get, like, now do you get why I didn't want to go into it? Because now you have this look on your face, and they still
right.
They still
don't get it.
No, they still don't even get why we didn't want to go into detail.
Right, like especially like if someone asks, like, oh, what kind of music do you play? I just like, metal. I don't want to get into it with these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have this conversation because, like, it's not like I'm trying to recruit them to be a fan. Like, they're never going to get it. They're never going to come to a show. They're never going to do anything. So it's just like, it's a small talk bullshit that, like, I don't want to have with this person, but I'm being courteous. So I just kind of give them a real broad stroke of the brush of what's going on, and then they're still like, all right. Like, they think that they should be able to turn on TV and see me on stage at the VMAs. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not really how this works.
If that was the case, why would I be working with you right now?
yeah. Like, why the hell am I here selling fucking car parts? at 8 o'clock in the morning if I'm going to be on the VMAs next week. Like, this doesn't make any sense. It's just, so yeah, it's a conversation that I courteously have, I have it with people, but like, they don't get it. And I know going into the conversation that they're not going to get it. So it's not really a letdown for me. It's probably more of a bummer for them because they expect some grandioso answer and I don't have it for them,
So moving forward into this project, into Treason, what were some main things that you were just like listening to, or just influenced the idea and the sound of this project?
I think it was really like a combination of all the bands that I had been in. I take little elements, like each time I'm in a band, I'll take a little element from that band that I may not have thought of otherwise. Like a few of the bands that I was in, like when I was in Terror, I had nothing to do with writing any of the music, and it was awesome. Like it was one of those situations where I just came in and they were like showed me the songs, and that was my responsibility. Whereas most of the other bands I've been in, I've been like the main songwriter. I've been the guy who books the shows. I've been the guy who does this, the guy who does that, and it was nice stepping into a role of, hey, just play this part and it's all good. So I was like, all right, cool. So like the same with when I was in Blood Has Been Shed, that was the same thing. Like, here's the songs and just play these. It was so, but I've taken bits and pieces from all of those bands. And I think with Treason, I think if you really sit down and listen to the music, you're going to hear little elements of, modern hardcore stuff, some older style stuff. It encompasses my, I don't even know how many years it was since I was 16. I was in my first band. So I'm 46 now, you know what I'm saying? So it's like for 30 years, I've been doing music in some way, shape or form. So I've taken little bits of all of that and put it into this, and not necessarily knowingly like, oh, this part needs a little more terror. This part needs a little more Suffocate Faster or whatever. It just happens to come out that way when I write it. So I think that's where it all just sort of comes together that way. Like there'll be some very melodic stuff that I'll input to a song, and then some weird like breakdowny like dissonant chord type of stuff. So it's, as long as it all fits together, I don't think you should be molded into one style personally.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a job. If you've been doing, things for so long, you take bits and pieces from your experience from that job to the next one, and so on and so forth. So this is just a little bit of your each bit of your resume into one project. Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say. Absolutely. So moving a little bit forward, just the shows and tours, like how often, because sometimes with bands as they've, and artists and hardcore kids as they moved on into projects as, more adult style bands, it's harder to, get out of your hometown. How often does this group get to go out and tour and play outside of your area? We've done a lot of hard work trying to play shows. It's hard, we all have, like, our guitar player is a professor in Kentucky at a college. So it's not like you can just be like, all right, well, I'm out of here for 2 weeks and I'm going to get in the van and go play in front of 20 people every night. Like, he doesn't have that kind of luxury, nor do I. I have a family, I have a daughter. It's, we all just can't pick up and just go, or drop shit and just go. But we try and plan ahead. We play a lot of regional shows because obviously that's the easiest. We've gone to California to play shows. We've gone to Florida a couple times now. Chicago, we get it. We go where we can when we can. If the opportunity is there, cool. If not, it's just the way it is. It's hard for me sometimes because I'll be on Facebook or something and Instagram and see everybody posting these amazing shows that are happening,
And I'm like, fuck, like why we should be on these fucking shows. But it's like, it's not realistic sometimes. It's like a jealousy. Like I wish I had that. I wish I was 25 again, where like nothing mattered except going to play shows. But when we all do what we can, we all put forth as much effort as possible, and we also have to think, we have to think about monetarily too. Like we'll all be taking time off work to go play shows. We're all doing those things, and we all have families and stuff. So it's like we definitely do the best we can with what we got, and we just hope that when we do get to certain areas, we just really put on a good show, whether there's 20 people or 200 people or 2,000 people. We want to make sure that whoever's there is like, yo, that band was sick. They were really good. They were really into it. They gave us, all they got. And
I know New Age did a fest showcase last year. Is there one this year too?
There's one coming up. It's actually in the Midwest in St. Louis this year. And we're playing that. It's Mean Season's playing, and like a lot of the newer New Age bands. It's hard. It's hard to get these. It's hard to get bands to come to St. Louis. Let's just be honest. It's fucking St. Louis. Like who the hell wants to go to St. Louis? But like Mean Season was down to do it, which I think is awesome. What's that?
Oh, I was letting you talk. I didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So yeah, it was just like, it's hard to get a bunch of bands from that are on that label to come here. But we those guys over in St. Louis managed to put together a really good show. Like it's a really, it's a good show. And it's a lot of bands that half the show is New Age bands. The other half the show is like friends of ours bands. And it's kind of cool. And it should be a really good time. It should be a lot of fun.
One thing I have to say about St. Louis, I gotta give it up for some of the new St. Louis bands. Like last year, like I think it was I filled up my schedule, like most of my show for a month and a half full of St. Louis bands. So shout out to Red Bait, Time and Pressure,
yep.
Better Days. All those fucking bands are repping St. Louis. Yeah, it's probably hard to get out there as a band outside, but they're really repping their fucking area.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. We're really good friends with them. We've met through New Age Records. We've met by being on the same label. They've come to, Time and Pressure's come through here a bunch of times. It's cool. Like, it's still cool to me to meet new people, like currently, like now, and forge these friendships with them. That like, I don't know that if I wasn't involved in music like I am, I don't know that I would have met these people. So, it's there's the other side of that too. When you go play these shows and get to meet new people and stuff, like it's crazy that at 46 years old, I'm still out here meeting new people and getting more friends out of this. It's pretty awesome.
And it just opens up, like, I don't know, if it wasn't for those bands, I wouldn't be thinking about St. Louis currently, not at all. So they're doing, it's those bands you can always, it's just proof to you that you can always, like, if you rep your town hard enough, and if you put enough work, you can put your fucking scenes on the map. You can make sure,
absolutely,
you can make your area heard and seen.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, totally. It's just, it's as good as what you want to put into it.
Yeah.
It's as good as what you give is what you get, and they put in a lot of work, not just in their hardcore community, but just in their local communities in general. Like they're very active in social issues in their neighborhoods, and like they really take it to heart and they really work hard, and that resonates too with people. So, even though I'm a Boston Bruins fan, I'll go ahead and give a shout out to St. Louis, but it'll only happen one time.
So, moving forward, you had a release that you put out at the beginning of last year. So, is there going to be some music that you're working on for the future?
Yeah, we have another 7-inch coming out late fall, probably late fall. I would say about the first of the year, late fall, first, or like, late fall or like December, like the very beginning of winter. It's a 5-song, 7-inch. It's already recorded. It's already been sent off to the press. So that'll be out then. And we're going to be playing some shows around that as well. We have a new video that we shot that we're going to release in a little bit. The closer we get to the release date of the record, we'll release that. Yeah, you know, just playing some shows. We got some shows coming up locally. So yeah, we're just, you know, just trying to have as much fun with it while we can.
Awesome. We're talking to Rich from the band Treason on New Age Records. They have a record out titled No One Is Safe. Check that out. They'll have a new record, a new 7-inch out very soon. So keep an eye and an ear out for that. Check out those socials. Check out New Age. Check out Treason all over the interwebs. Rich, anything else you would like to say in closing?
No, you know, I mean, we're not really a political band. We're not really like, you know, especially in between songs, we kind of have fun. We joke around with each other. We joke around with people in the audience. We don't try and take ourselves too seriously, but we do. If you really listen to the lyrics to our songs, we touch on a lot of stuff. We're a straight edge band. We've all been straight edge in the band for forever, for as long as I can remember. So that's a very prominent topic for us. But we also tackle like police brutality, government abuse, things of that nature, where it's just you have to. To me, like, this music is designed for that. You know, it's just like it's just so important to, like, not just sing about it, but to get involved in stuff in your communities to make your little spot of the world a little bit better for you and your family and for everyone else around you. You know, I've found that, like, a lot of it's preaching to the choir when you just say what you have to say at hardcore shows. Because 9 times out of 10, hell, 9.5 times out of 10, everyone in the audience feels exactly the same way you do. So I feel like you're just saying, sometimes bands just say stuff to get a clap or a round of applause. You need to go out and do stuff. If you're going to be active, you're going to talk about it, you need to go out and be about it. And I just think that given our current climate of our country now, going out and doing something about it is probably the most important thing to do right now at this time for our kids' futures, for our present. It's just time to really get involved and, you know, enact whatever kind of change it is you're looking for. Do your best, do your part. That way you can always say that. You can always say, listen, I gave it my best shot. And with Treason, that's what we're kind of trying to do too. Yeah, we want to have fun, and if it's not fun, we're not going to do it. But, like, there's also a bigger meaning behind it too. It's not just about having fun. Sometimes you got to be serious and take things seriously and do what you can to make it a little bit better for the next person coming along.
Absolutely. I think there's definitely there's a balance to that, and that's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to play a couple songs. We're going to play The Gift and Iron Oath, and then we're going to get back to it. Thank you so much. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio.
Here's a big ass block of fucking music for y'all. Let's stop talking and let's get the fucking moshing.
It's Now, if you want to take a pass, you go ahead and take it. You done this shit before, motherfucker. But don't you dare pretend that that shit is courage. Don't you dare. That's some weak-ass, fake-ass, pussy-ass shit. And you keep playing pussy around here, you're gonna get fucked.
Don't try to hide it, we don't know your lies. You're a weak motherfucker, I'll be your demise. Just waiting for the day when your fucking mouth is a price you'll have to pay. You ain't about shit, you're just fucking shot. Miss your fucking ass, half dead is how you look. Ain't a fucking game, this is how we move. Make you fucking clown till you get a fucking clue. Every fucking day, I'm sick of these buses taking back what they say. Blaming for a goal till I show up at your door. Make you feel your legs face down on the floor. That's right, motherfuckers. Coming at you on some San Jose bullshit. All you cowards can step up and get smacked the fuck up. Tsunami style, bitch. Shut your fucking mouth. We'll beat your ass to the floor. Stop your stupid ass till we get no more. Yeah, motherfucker! Run your fucking pockets, pussy! This ain't gangland, bitch! Fuck around and find out!
You see this? This is what I'm gonna use to dig your eyes out of your skull and feed them to your homeboys. Now get the fuck out of here.
The simple life you should replace. You walk in circles, the plastic time. Wasters, don't waste mine. What you see is what you get. Don't forget your final breath. Your final breath. Your final breath. I see
claimed.
Back to that breaking news in Nash County. 5 inmates escaped from the detention center in Nashville.
Time to end episode 63. Shout out to Rich from Treason. New music coming out. More than likely on New Age Records. We'll find out. Follow them on all the socials. Treason HC. So, big block of music. We played those 2 Treason songs, The Gift and Iron Oath, and after that, our big block of music. We have some new music from In Cold Blood. In Cold Blood has not put out music in fucking long ass time. They have a new record titled Legion of Angels. It's got Blaze on vocals, a little bit different style than before. Lots of fucking solos. Blaze from Integrity and Ringworm now taking the vocals from this shit. So check it out on Fast Break Records now. Followed that, some music from a band called Tsunami, and that's with the S, not a T. I thought I had this shit queued up, some fucking dope ass kind of New York hardcore mixed with some thrash, some beatdown, some all that good shit. Then we got Invoke and MH Chaos to split together, so you know that shit's heavy. The vocals for MH Chaos, I guess it's weird in the way that I like it. It's that perfect style of different. Then followed that, we have some music, some more Texas hardcore crossover. We got Worst Behavior. We played Walk in Circles. They have a record titled No Escape out now. And then we followed that up with Portrayal of Guilt. They have a new 6-song record titled Suffering is a Gift. Some, if you haven't listened, you should listen to it. Definitely has a lot of different fucking elements. It's got some post-hardcore, got the hardcore roots, some blackened metal, some screamo, all packaged very interesting like. So I definitely am a fan of this band because I like that different shit. Check out Portrayal of Guilt. Then we got The Great Lie, a New York punk hardcore band that actually sent their music to me on Facebook. You can always send your music to me. Do it. Fucking do it. deadairnwcz@gmail.com or our Facebook, facebook.com/deadairhardcoreradio. We always want your music. We want to hear what you got to say, and we might even take the time to interview you because I love talking to people on this show. So moving forward to the UK, we got motherfucking Guilt Trip. They put out a record just at the end of last month. Why do I always fucking take the shit off my screen? Super fucking annoying. So yeah, they have a new record titled River of Lies out on BDHW Records out of the UK. Check it the fuck out. Beatdown, hardcore, all that shit. Followed by fuck you. I have the same song like that fucking repeated twice. See how much time. Oh, I still got some time to fucking talk. I'm just making sure. Followed by music from Final Warning out of fucking Broward. That's same area as Bloodbather. We got shout out to fucking Broward Hardcore. You know, Broward Beatdown, yo. Played off their newest 3-song demo. We played the second track, Down for War. Followed that with some more fucking... This week's a heavy week. Lots of beatdown metal influence this week. If you were looking for some punk, that ain't it. I go like a lot by what records are coming out. So if you need more punk from me, like I said, facebook.com/deadairhardcoreradio or deadairnwcz@gmail.com. Send me those emails, them hate mails. Tell me what you want to hear more of, because I go by releases, not by what type of hardcore or metal or punk I want to hear. So at the end of July, we Hurt Piece came out with a EP titled To the Bone. We played the title track, which is the first track. Followed that by 13th. We from Raleigh, North Carolina. Used to go to North Carolina a lot as a kid. I kind of fucking loved it there. I'm still vegan, but like the barbecue there and the barbecue sauce. I'm all about, when it comes to barbecue, it's about the fucking sauce for me. It's they had some of the best fucking barbecue sauce. All right, I'm getting fucking hungry. So we played Street Disciple, and then we go to Leeds, the UK, with a band that sounds a lot like Higher Power, with that crossover, them pretty ass crossover vocals. We got Disdain. There's a few of them. If you look on Bandcamp, so make sure you go to the one that says UK. We played Wet Nightmare. Cool shit. And before, let me look at my timer. I got a couple minutes to kill. So I wanted to shout out, I guess, the people I like to shout out. Shout out to Vigo Eats. I've got to eat there a few times this summer. You've heard my rants about them. They started at the beginning of summer, and I've got to go at least once every 2 weeks. It's awesome having vegan establishments in local areas. Like, there's a lot more and more. Obviously there's a fast food shit, but if you can avoid the fast food shit, please do, because some of it's not fucking good for you, and some of it, your money is going towards shit that just fucking ruins our country and the world and all that dumb shit. So support Vigo Eats if you can. If you're coming through Tacoma, Puyallup area, check them out. And they're awesome people. It's an awesome husband and wife and a believe brother that do this shit. So I fucking love Vigo Eats, and those people have always been just really nice, and it's been a cool summer, and here's to many years and many summers for that company. So support them. We don't have any special sponsor with them. I said I would do this straight up, just because I love what they do. I am looking for sponsors. deadairnwcz@gmail.com. This shit don't get cheap. It's hard to keep this up, so I'm looking to partner up with people for future episodes, so keep that in mind. Also, shout out to our list of stations that we run on. Let me make sure. Oh, you fucker. Okay, anyways, I still also got to make sure I'm like running okay on time. I have like a minute before I'm done. So really quickly, go to our show times. You can go to Dead Air Hardcore Radio on Facebook and our Facebook group, and our show times are also on deadairhardcoreradio.com. We do this live every Wednesday from 8 to 10 p.m. on NWCZ Radio Studios, and shout out to them for letting us use this facility. Followed on 10 to midnight on RadioVegas.rocks. Shout out to Jay. They've built a great fucking station there. RenegadeRadio.com. They've been touring around a lot of the Nevada area, just blasting the fuck out of Dead Air and all their other shows. So shout out to them. Podunk Radio. punks that fucking get with the fucking program. Ripper Radio, love them. They're in the UK and the US. You can also go to Spotify and hit that shit, and they podcast all our episodes. That's so fucking awesome. So you can go to type in Ripper Radio on Spotify or on fucking get it. And also purerockradio.net every Sunday, big ass network that I love it. And then every Monday, I didn't do it this week like I should have, but deadairhardcoreradio.com, our podcast shows and all the info you need for the show. So I gotta fucking get off the air. So we're gonna end it with some music from Sect. We've had this band on so many times. Sect XVX. They just launched Blood Beasts out of the blue. This is their third full length. We're gonna play Like Animals. Support this band. Awesome people. Maybe we'll get them on the show again to talk about the fucking record. I love talking with them. All right, we're out. Episode 63 in the books. See you next time.
The shit of control is the nose, like a steam rising from the ground. Your skin on the killing floor, like to waste, brought by the knee. Want it all to rest in one silence and scream of the brain. Like the end when rust of shackles and of us again. Instead of behind, like all of things that you own. Held down, white out, and the flesh exposed to the bone. Bullet remorse is restraining the face. The furnace forward, orbit. All the shackles are depressing the life. Until it's just, we are suppressed and civilized. When my brother is still hanging from a rope. My sister's not a hand around this world. And the killing line was 1,000 at a time. Every hour of every day. And then you say, you're afraid of me. Believe in violence. You best believe I live to see death souls released. All cages broke, all boxes shoved on the blood of the beast.
See you later, sucker.